Blood parliament imejaza bloody people. Mtu akisikia unatoka Kibera, that's the first challenge that you're going to face. Because we don't have a lot of options, being brutally honest, coming from the slum. Being on the front line was not something that was ever planned. Ademba Allans is born and raised in Kibera, the actual Kibera mnajua. So born and raised Kibera, nikasomea hapo. Then nika transition to high school somewhere in Siaya. Nikarudi nikaingia Mount Kenya University kufanya journalism and mass media communication. Then hapo ndio vitu zikaanza kukua. Actually that is where you go to know who is you. So yeah, that is Ademba for if it's outside the blood parliament or the politics around me, but that is Ademba. And also, what can I add? I'm a big enthusiast of fashion. I'm a big enthusiast of life. I love exploring life beyond vitu zingine. Kuna a lot of things outside just doing politics and doing kuna a lot of things that entails life. I won't deny or refute the fact that Kibera is a very big slum. That is a fact. Because kila mtu anajua Kibera is a slum. I myself, nimesoma Kibera. What I hate is when people talk of Kibera, they try to dilute the good part of Kibera to the bad part, the bad picture. Unajua kitu moja growing in Kibera, let me just be honest with you, it impacts you a lot, let me say both negatively and positively, but if you main on the negative is because you decide to absorb the negative aspect of it. Because again, you are what you are exposed to. Kama uko exposed around crime, uko exposed, you are unaambiwa this is poverty and everything like that, then that will be your life. But you decide that I'm going to explore more beyond Kibera. Okay, so mimi growing in Kibera imekuwa like a very good aspect of me, because now I get to give world a very different perspective when it comes to Vivi. I get to give the world a very more nisemaje, a view that is more of scrutiny. You scrutinize things before you do something. So Kibera is a good aspect of me. I love it, and it has brought the best in me. Let me just be honest. Kibera has brought the best in me, and I won't say anything about Kibera because that is negative. Yes, there's negative aspect of it. I'm not denying that, but I personally can say that Kibera has been a positive aspect of my life, because the things that I'm doing right now, if not for Kibera and me trying to get out of those things by doing other things, singekuwa hapa. Art and ghetto are one thing, and I'll go be within Kenya and outside Kenya. So wacha tuanze. Mimi nimegrow Kibera. I love art. Fashion is art, because if I had not mentioned, I love fashion. Fashion is art. For today, nimeva basic. This is me. So this is denim, this is just cargo pants and Yeezy hapo chini. So that is me wearing basics, ndio. And I have this, nilichukua City Market, and this nilikuwa nakuja interview. So art resides in the slums. Let me just be honest. Mimi, I'm from ghetto. And if you leave aside Mimi or the artist from Kibera, let me tell you, the biggest artist that we have in the world, tuanze tuna the likes of people that everybody knows. Tupac is from the slum. Akina Biggie, akina the likes of people you see, akina 50s, and those people are from the slum, totally from the slum. Turudi Kenya, we have, let me just mention to you, we have Octopizzo, because that's an example that people relate to. We have Juakali, so I can mention different ghetto. We have Juakali from totally slum, Dandora. Caliph, yeah. We have people like Akina Meja. We have people like Bahati, totally from the slum. And so, and we have Akina Ekodida, currently wamefanya art, sasa hivi kwa politics. So if you say the main reason that art relates with people from Kibera, first of all, people deem art as the sole goal ya kuwatoa niseme ghetto. It's like a champion for change. We use art for change, that's the right word. Art is used for change. For example, why am I saying this? You see people when you metoka slum and they're artistic. I'm going to use the examples that are local. Let us use the example of Octopizzo. That's because anatoka kwetu. How is he using fashion for change? Octopizzo is one of the, anaendanga UN, nini, one of the most diplomatic people tunajua. And anapata hizo angles through those connections through, niseme, art, sindio? Because there's the Octopizzo Foundation related to Octopizzo, which deals with elevating people in the slum. And we also have other people apart from them. We have people, artists who draw, tuko na watu. And you know, just even creating content that is art. Tuko na watu, tuko na, let me just give another example. Most of people don't know. Photography is art, yes. Kenya, we have somebody called Macoins Mashilingi, a very big photographer in Kenya. He's the current photographer of State House. Ametoka Kibera, somewhere Mashimoni. So that shows you how art is big for us. So because we don't have a lot of options, being brutally honest, coming from the slum, we have to use what is there. And what is there? Art. So you see, coming from the slum give you a chance to explore yourself fully. That's why I say, Mimi, I'm not going to say negative things. I'm not going to focus on the negative aspect of that Kibera has brought to my life. I'm focusing on the positive. So it gives us the chance to explore us fully, because Mimi ni photojournalist. How did I come to be that? Through Kibera nilijua there's a lot of things that I can do with what we have in hand. So art is the biggest part of art and creates a lot of opportunity for us, because also Kenya is big on art, though not to the level of other countries, but we are trying. Unapata people just make stuff and they go viral. Unapata let me use somebody also. There's somebody called Davido from Kibera. So Davido anafanya fashion. Davido has been able to dress people like Stormzy, has been able to dress Bruno Mars, has been able to dress this other guy who was in Kenya, Chris Martin, and has been able to dress some of the biggest artists that you know. So art is us. Mimi nikisema art is us. I've been to places that most people from Kibera don't get to be. So through that you get to see, oh, so these things work. So for example, right now I'm doing, we have a brand called Vibes and Thread, which focuses on fashion. And we are not the tailors, we don't make clothes, but this is a platform that we use to use fashion as a tool for change. Why am I saying this? Because you see, ukikuja kwa kitu kama Vibes and Thread, we've championed for streetwear. Now, why am I saying this? Streetwear ni kitu yenye everybody can access, everybody can afford, because streetwear is you being you, what you can wear and what you want to wear. So when we through that, unapata a lot of people are into fashion, but they lack these spaces to do what they want to do. Why am I saying this? A lot of spaces in Kenya za vitu kama fashion are meant for, you know, the bigger people, very expensive. But because I'm coming from slum, I need to create platform, opportunity for these people. Okay, Mimi, nimepata that exposure. What am I using that exposure for? Creating platform for other people who don't have the exposure. And now we are selling tickets to those events and people are buying. And how are the normal community or the public benefiting from this? We have people coming, vendors who are into fashion. We have people just coming to connect because you are selling clothes. Maybe you are doing upcycling. Maybe unafanya, you have your own clothing brand. Maybe you just have a boutique. You are selling jewelry. Because like the things I'm wearing, hizo unapata unapewa kwa those spaces. So unapata we create opportunity to youth. Because then again, in that CBO, that is a big group of friends, we believe in creating a self-sustaining youth through income-generating initiatives. Why am I saying this? So unapata tuna create jobs actually. Let me just call them jobs. Because through that Vibes and Thread, we employ what? You know, we can't do the things ourselves. We have to do ticketing. We have to do videography. We have to do marketing. We have to do a lot of things that are just the setup. That means we are creating platforms for these younger people who didn't have this exposure. I'm a one jobs. Frankly, I've gotten to get a lot of exposure. I know what people want. And apart from what people see me online, mimi ni msee mwenye I kaa chini, I study what is happening, and I get to learn and get to know what people want. Naweza enda mtaa, naweza enda Kibera, hata sahi maybe nikienda, tunachill, unapata what people want the most ni jobs. But they don't get these jobs because, first of all, they are from the slums. Unaelewa? So you get to understand what do they want and how can you create the jobs for them. So once we created Vibes and Thread, and you also wanted to know the genesis of Vibes and Thread. So that is one of them. Just having the motivation to build something that is going to create employment for people. So let me tell you this thing. Mimi, coming to Vibes and Thread, nilikuwa na study. Not studying a school, but studying a life. I love events, I love concerts. I've been to different concerts that I'm not going to name drop. So maybe because of copyright and things like that. So I've been to a lot of events. You see, this thing is happening. Yes, you can do this thing. But a lot of people want to be in these spaces, but they are too expensive. They are for the elite class, for the bougie class, na vitu kama hizo. And so if you can do something for this watu wa ghetto, please do it. Because that's the whole aspect of it. We want to create something for the people who cannot create or who are not in a position to get the jobs. Because yet again, unapata somebody akomta, yes, is been maimed criminal, and maybe he's a changed youth, a reformed youth. Who is going to employ him? Wewe mwenye umekana wendo na yeye, you are the person who understand him the most. Unaelewa? You know that this person has truly changed. But mwenye amjui ataenda na what is the system said. Huyu alikuwa ndani. So if you can create that, then that is what we are going to do. Umeanzisha something that you yourself, the vision you have for it ni kubwa. Unaelewa? But you are nobody. You are not a politician. You are not an influencer. You are not a brand actually. But where you see the vision as something that is going to propel outside there. Now you are trying to approach, maybe in the same to just a venue for the event. Uneno unaambiwa, no, this place is like the prices unaambiwa. So financial aspect of it, mtu akisikia unatoka Kibera, that's the first challenge that you're going to face. Because people consume a lot of information hapa nje. And what they consume about Kibera is the negative information. Or criminals, or nini. So ukipata mtu kama mimi natoka, naambia, okay, we are applying for this grant. Unaelewa? Because nini, and unasikia mtu anatoka Kibra, then like, hey, nini. So just that, people are not ready to give you the voice. But once you start something and ikashika, that's the best of you. Because sisi tulianza Vibes and Thread tukujua itawahi shika. And once you were able to sell the idea to people and people bought the idea, people actually showed up to the event. Tusema then there's nothing is impossible. We can be doing everything. Sasa hata hujamaliza, mimi nafanya vitu mingi. I'm a content creator. I do a lot of things. I have a YouTube channel running. So mimi nafanya vitu mingi. And my YouTube is doing good. Vitu kama hiyo. Chenye nafanya kwa life, if you want to succeed, is just you knowing how to balance things. You have to have time for everything. Hata Biblia inasema there's time for everything. There's time for ya kuvuna, I don't know time ya nini. Once you have time for everything, and you know how to position yourself. Not everything that you are going to do it succeed. Let me just be honest. Because when tumefanya vitu mingi zime fail. There's a time nilikuwa ndani ya comedian. Apparently I was a comedian to myself. He can fail. I just have to be honest with you. So tumefanya a lot of things. But then nilienda auditions za comedy. They never worked out. It never worked out. So you just try. I don't know if Vibes and Thread is going to work out because, okay, we are doing the second edition, what about the third edition, fourth edition? But because I have a positive mindset about it, and because we see the vision, and the fact that we did the first edition, maybe that means that we bought it. Na tutafanya. And we are also welcoming to the second edition.
So, how you balance this is all about?
Time. You work on time. Because, niseme, we have 7 days a week. Vibes and Thread is not something that I'm going to do the whole week. And you cannot work as a team. As an individual, you have to work as a team. Because if you want to go far, just work with the team. Unaelewa? So if I'm going to do, because nimekwambia, I have all those things, you have to create time. If you go something that you love, you'll create time for it. No matter what, hakuna excuse. Because I love creating platform. That is through Vibes and Thread and Sabiko. I have to create time for that. So niseme, we have meetings because we usually meet. I'm not alone. I have to be honest with you, I'm not alone with that. Unapata we create meetings because when nafanya now, most of them actually wanafanya 9 to 5. So unapata like the time that wako free, tunakaa chini, tuna brainstorm, tunafanya hii. Then ikirudi kwa content creation, that is now me. Ni mimi naifanya alone. I have to figure out venye naenda kuifanya. Because now content is something that naweza fanya hapa sahi, just me talking. Because mimi ndo najua kitu nitafanya. So the answer to your question, how I balance is, I create time for everything. Right now nimekuja interview kwako. Does it mean that sikuwa na kitu ya kufanya? I just decided that I need to do this. Ingine maybe naweza fanya hata labda nilikuwa nishaifanya. So you just create time. You see what is important and what is not. Oh, the direction here, content creation, are the government doing enough for content creation? Let me tell you first, tuko na Ministry of Sports na vitu kama hizo, tuko na hiyo ndio iko na art ndani, si ndio? Tuko na okay. We also on the side we have the content creators. Ministry of Sport and hizo content creation, hizo ministry, they're not going to come kukwambia your content is good to kupay pesa ufanye content. They are going to create an enabling environment for you to do the content. No. So, mimi, I'm a critic to the government. I have to say that, sindio? But what I can also say is the government will not come to give you money to fund your content if you are a content creator. They will create an enabling environment. Umwai kuja tao Sundays, sindio? Or mostly Sundays, because that's when content creators wanakuanga town. A year ago, you could not do content in town. So, why are they doing it right now? Sakaja give them that enabling environment. They can do it. Ukitembea sasa you meet a lot of photographers everywhere. People doing content, people shooting, nini, unaweza toka hapo pale watu wanafanya TikTok hapo nje. Unaelewa? That means that the government has given that enabling environment for them to do that. Unaelewa? Because, okay, Sunday, people wako home. Unataka kuachia nani tao? Ikuwe empty for who? So, that is one of the things. Now, the state of content creation. I feel like content creation now is crowded by our younger generation, the Gen Zs, because I'm a Gen Z. Sindio? So what do I feel about these people? I cannot tell anybody not to do content because hakuna mtu anajua tomorrow. Unaelewa? And with Kenya unaweza kuwa umelala ulifanya content last year ukaamka unapata na trend. So what I can say is, in as much as you are doing content, do it. But let me also add, okay, utaedit, but I don't know kama polisi. Utaedit, but I don't have a good feeling around them. Hata ukiangalia, these people look like cops. Wamekuwa tu hapa. Those people look like cops. They have just been around. I don't know. Just look at their nini, physique, nini. Angalia. Na ndio mwingine tena ndio huyu. Si nikwambia? Sasa nakwambia no. No, me, I just can't trust. Angalia hata the dress code of those people. Just look at it. Using you can use your phone is good for zooming. Simu yako ni poa for zooming. Content is diverse. People have array of content, a lot of content. Kuna watu wa lip syncing, kuna watu wa dancing, kuna watu wa everything, sindio? So let's use examples. We have people like Kaisinat. We have ISO Speed. They do streaming. Why is it that they are in a place to make a lot of money than us? Let me tell you one thing. Kenya, there are a lot of things that we have not normalized yet. Things like streaming. You know, Kenya, we were introduced to TikTok. And Kenya, let's just say, people are struggling to make it out of YouTube. If you see people like Kaisinat, they do live streaming, yes. But let me tell you, they use YouTube, they don't focus on YouTube, they don't focus on TikTok, they focus on an app called Twitch. So, you know, for us, TikTok, we are using it because it's the most readily available and most tailored app to us for content creation. For people in USA, something like Twitch was introduced to them years ago, before TikTok. So a lot of people got into it. And we also have to say that different countries are far ahead on Kenya because of types of things that they do, especially information. Content creation in Kenya is really sustainable. Because you see, you are dancing on TikTok. A good thing, a lot of people dance. But there are also millions of other people dancing. So what we have to do is find a niche of what you're doing. Try to study what you are going to do and try to see how unique what you are doing is. Because if you are stepping in an industry full of dancers, then it's up to you to determine, okay, what are you going to do different about dancing? And also, it also comes to packaging. Packaging does a lot for content creators. If you're not well packaged, my friend, you will have 1 million followers on TikTok. No brand deal, no money is going to come out of it. Because, okay, there's a point that I was at 100K followers, but nobody knew about me. Nobody was going to give you jobs. But once you start packaging, people start noticing what you are doing. Then that's where the money comes in. So when you are saying that I'm going to do content creation, first of all, find a niche of what you're going to do. Study the niche and study what other people are doing, what everybody is doing, then do something different. I'm not saying that when they will dance when you are naked or things like that. Also be positive, because a lot of people are making money in Kenya also just through content creation. Once you build your community and people now relate with you, you have like true, let me say, die-hard community, then you're going to do anything. Because let me say I started my brand, I was doing, okay, right now I'm doing street fashion, right? It will come a time that I'm at the Met Gala level. Why? Because thank you. First of all, make sure that people relate with you. Make sure that people relate with what you're doing. Make sure that people buy your idea. Make sure that you have a very strong community. Once you build a community around something, then is when now you need to start focusing on making money. Because yet again, you cannot start making money when you have 1 follower. Seriously, I want to give you an example. Nana Witi. Nana Witi is into sports. She's a female. And why am I using her? Because female sports is a male-dominated world. But Nana coming to the picture, that was a very different thing. So you coming in a world dominated by a male, the male gender, and you are female, of course people are going to pay you attention. And what did she do? Find a way of packaging yourself as the best when it comes to that field. Because then again, nazaenda kudance. Mimi nazaanza kudansa. I am not the best dancer. Maybe you can also create a narrative, because everybody is expecting a best dancer, be the worst dancer. Yeah, just be the worst dancer, because we have a lot of them who are worst dancers just doing their thing. Just be the worst dancer, but find a way of packaging that. Find a way of having better camera. That works. Actually, quality, sound, and everything. Be the worst, because everybody is trying to be the best. Just be the worst. Kenya works in a very mysterious way. You find people that are not supposed to be going viral are the people going viral. So you just find a way of doing your things, because we have people who knew that somebody like Boina could make content out of eating. People like Kabuda just making money out of such the smallest simple things possible. You see? So also, if you're doing content, find a content that you know you can package this to make money, because now again there are some content in ngumu to package to make money. You have to be consistent in everything you do after thorough evaluation financially and everything. What is going to cost you, because a lot of content again you cannot do without money. Kuna vitu nataka kufanya traveling content na una kitu for real. Uta travel wapi? Labda utaenda town na rudi home. Is that right? I've had a YouTube channel since 2020. And what have I been doing? Politics. In as much as, you know, there's a time that you start something but you fully don't understand what you're doing, then you learn with the overtime. I was never. Let me just answer you from the start. I was never. I didn't have a voice before the revolution. Nobody knew about me. The people who knew me were the close circle. I was never part of it. Actually, when the revolution was starting, is when I was at around 300 followers on TikTok. I don't know, 300, 200. That just tells you that I was never part of it. It found me on the way, and I just decided to ride with it. Because then again, if you are a journalist, I'm a journalist, I call myself a journalist. You have to find a way of airing people's voices. What is the main role of journalism? Keeping the government in check, educating people, informing people. So social media is here. I know how to use social media. Why don't I use it to make change? So if people buy what I'm doing, that's okay. I just do what I think is right, because I was just recording videos, posting them online, maybe commenting, doing commentary on politics, and that's how people started getting to know me. But you've asked if I was part of the people who planned or whatever, who mobilized. Let me just tell you, the revolution was organic. Umesema is a Gen Z, so umesema kuna millennials and everybody. That thing was organic. Mimi, there's a siku nilingia Twitter, I found what walikuwa space for 8 hours. Hata mimi mwenyewe nilishtuka. Hata by that time, I was not that strong, unaelewa? But just being consistent, nobody was even paying attention. Funny thing, even the people are close to you don't buy what you are doing at the start. Now, being on the front line was not something that was ever planned. It's something that I found myself inside there. I was going to the Manaman like everybody else, but I was going to cover as a journalist. I was going to cover what is happening. Me finding myself on the front line is something that I didn't know, because at Mimi, I only knew that I was in the front line when BBC approached me to tell the story. Unaelewa? That's when I knew that, okay, kumbe nilikuwa front line. For these people to notice me. Unaelewa? Because niseme sahi, okay, sahi, right now it's different because they have noticed me, so other media houses can notice me. But mimi nilikuwa just a normal person. That's why unapata those videos that are trending. I'm not the one who took them. Mimi pia niliziona siku mliona documentary. Because mimi I did my interview kwa BBC na nikatoka nikaenda. Sikuwaijua the process of making the documentary. Sikuwaijua who was involved. Sikuwaijua kina Boniface would be there, kina Nifa, and even kina Boniface and kina Nifa didn't know that Boniface hakuwajua Nifa kwa hiyo documentary. Unaelewa? We just knew. Not that we signed a NDA somewhere, but nobody knew. Unaelewa? That's how BBC works. Because if you knew then kulikuwa na biasness, mtaribu even what is coming. And nobody expected the documentary to have the impact that imekuwa nayo. No, it's just the humane act of you wanting to do the most humane thing at the most crucial moment. I don't know how many. It's the humane act of you wanting to do the most humane thing at the most crucial moment. If I could focus on making videos, I had that option. I had that option of running away with people to make videos, people running and things like that. But that was the most humane thing, because somebody's crying this idea. Would you focus on making videos, or will you focus on helping this person? So it's you. There are two choices there, because yet again your life is on the line helping somebody else. What are you going to do? You just have to decide, and that's where adrenaline comes in. You're going to do this or you're going to do that. Yeah. I think something that I've not said in interviews, I was betting on the press card that I was wearing to be my savior, by the way. That's why, the video, it was hanging there. I had the press card, and I was also betting on the Kenyan flag. But honestly speaking, I feared for my life. Because nobody sees bullets coming. So yeah, I really feared, but I just had to help this person. You crying this idea, man, that means a lot. You see this person is shot, and you running away, no, that doesn't work according to my principles. Yeah, if you're in a position to help somebody, and you can help them, please help them. I was at the most happy place when people didn't know me, because that just tell you that I was not doing it for the cameras. That's why it took a year for people to notice me. And funny thing, the video that ziko kwa documentary, I watched them the day that you watched them. Because if somebody took video yako, huwezi jua kama alichukua. I was just there, a normal person. Unaelewa? And now mimi gaining, I don't know if it's popularity or fame, because bado naweza tembea freely. I think so. But that thing coming out, it was difficult. It was difficult to the parents and the family, because their son can go. So there's nobody that enjoys that, because I was already there. What can we do? Continue the course, and because you believe in a cause, do it. I believe that we can use journalism for change. That's why I'm really fighting that one day I'll become a journalist that I deserve. If not in the mainstream media, I'm going to build my own brand and be somebody else that can change the society. First of all, I'm still struggling with the aspect of people calling me famous or the hero. Thank you.
Celebrate you, man.
I appreciate it. I'm grateful. Amenchanganya. Because me mwenyewe, I walk into rooms and people are perplexed to see me, and I'm also perplexed to see them. So you nani ako surprised. Ujaiona mtu amefurahia kukuona na umefurahia kumuona. That means that, okay, this thing is happening. So that's one aspect. Life haiko normal, because if you are living this life, sayo unatembea kwa street, somebody anakuuliza, oh, Ademba, hi, somebody ataka, I don't know, selfie. That is very different, because now you are not going to live a normal life. But I promise you, I am who I am. I'm going to use the similar means of transport I was using before. I'm going to do what I was doing until I see that this thing is able to change my life. I'm not going to say ati sasa mimi sasa okay. Mimi ni mtu wa Uber. Bro, naweza tumia Uber alafu nilale njaa usiku. Because okay, I'm famous but I'm broke. I have to add that. Nimekwambia BBC approaching me is very funny because I knew, okay, so that's when I knew I was in the front line. Because how many media houses do we have in Kenya? Over 50. Nobody alikuwa ananijua, first of all. And funny thing, BBC, an international company approaching me, that was very, nilijua I did something, but them approaching, hata sikujua why they were approaching me first, because they say we want to interview you about the protest, nini. Then as a journalist, you have to be curious. Mbona, nini, why? But once they will just want you to give narration of what happened. Yeah. So it was good for me to know that, okay, some people noticed what I did, which I myself sikuwa najua. Nimekwambia still now, still struggling to cope with some things kama hizo. People now calling me your hero, whatever. Ni ngumu. Ni ngumu bro. Saa zingine ni ngumu. The revolution is alive, totally alive, 100% alive.
Why?
Because I see things that happen that spook people. Blood Parliament coming to the picture help people relive the moment that there are people who died doing that, and we are fighting for a better Kenya. So people are still going to fight for a better Kenya. You see, I follow a lot of people. You see people like, if you just follow X vizuri, a lot of people are still doing revolutionary thing. Kuna wale watu just through X, nini. Because the revolution came in picture, first of all, through online activism. Unaelewa? In as much as people are not going to the street, does not mean that we are not going to do online activism. And let me tell you for a fact that Gen Z is the most woke generation that we have. And there's nothing a threat to the government than dealing with an elite class of people that understand what is supposed to be done, what will be done and how it should be done. So the revolution is not dead. The revolution is still there. And in as much as it's going to take time, it will be there. Because yet again, the moment people will relent, it means that they have power over the people. Yeah. So according to my analysis, the revolution is still there. And I will still use my channel to educate masses, because that is what I stand for. Me personally, I don't have personal problem with anyone. Because these people have been there before me. There are also a lot of activists that were in the picture long before the Gen Z revolution started. There were people in the picture. So if people call themselves out, it's up to them to go reassess, relearn, and right their wrongs. I don't want to name drop anybody. Absolutely yes, 100% yes. Let me tell you why. A lot of people are focusing on electing the right president. A lot of people are also forgetting that the parliament is the most crucial part of the government, because the parliament represents the people, but the president just heads the government. And a lot of people forget that the governor are under the control of the MCS. So youth standing and vying for this position means that they're in a position to change and create the government that they want. If, let's say, we have 351 people in the government, in the parliament, if I'm not wrong, plus the nominated, plus the MPs voted. So 351, that is 100%. If you just had like 60% of Gen Zs in those seats, means that we have a power in controlling. When it comes to impeaching a president, we are there. When it comes to making bills that are going to favor the people, we are there. When it comes to reforms or memorandums, when it comes to voting on things, we are there. So I can encourage people that 2027 elections are coming. It's high time that we seize those seats. And running for offices. Are you going to see me running for offices? Hey, that's funny. No. Absolutely no. I'm not a political person, but I love politics. I love being the person that comments on the politics, than the person being commented on. I believe I can make change from outside. People never know about me when it comes to vibes and threats. People don't know that I'm single. Another thing that people don't know is that I'm tall, actually, yes. People don't know that I'm tall because we do interviews. We do interviews sitting down. And people don't know that I'm that tall, but never care to 8.5.
Talking about you being single. Blood parliament judges are to go.
Blood parliament mejaza bloody people. But not the people that I would want. Yeah. Because yet again, you know, being in a relationship is something that's very personal and very intimate. Okay, approach mtu akikuapproach because you're famous and everything, you don't know what he's bringing to the table. Ukienda na fame, utatoka na, let me just be brutally honest na, some STIs and everything, because it all depends on how you treat them. DM imeja, if I can show you hata mimi sijui, I've never answered like over 150 people. I just see them, especially Instagram, TikTok, na WhatsApp. That is crazy. Where? Ideal partner for me. Mimi naongea, I talk a lot. You have to be. Uongei, like, you know, I'd go for introverts. Me personally, I'll go for introverts. No, because mimi nikaa naongea zaidi. What am I? Then another thing, let me use this time. There's a term that I'm looking for. Yes, I'm an astute judge of character. It may sound big, but I'm an astute judge of character. I will judge you based on who you are before I decide that I want to date you. I'm not going to go for somebody that is not relatable to me. So I'm going for somebody that is simple, like me. I have to say, though it's unnecessary, but somebody that has fashion sense, I just have to go with that. But that is not a plus or nini, but I go for simplicity, introverts, maybe somebody that we relate to at personal level. Mtu tumegrow nayo, like, sizienda nichukue mtu huko kilelesho anza kuni stress, nataka iPhone 16, mimi natumia iPhone X. So yeah, but with time, tutaona, because yet again, we define. And as I say, then things change. We, the people, have the power to elect the leaders that we want. Because the leaders in government is a reflection of us because we elected them. So let's sit down, assess these leaders, and elect the best and who we believe can help us propel Kenya to the right direction. Everyone, we have the second edition of Vibes and Thread. This is the only platform in Kenya that is giving you a chance to showcase your fashion unapologetically, uncensored. You come dressed bold and authentic. So we focus on street fashion because this is where everybody is at when it comes to those three things that I mentioned: unapologetically, authentic, and uncensored. The second edition of Vibes and Thread is happening on 14th June at Vibanda Village, and our tickets are at Hustle Sasa. If you follow us on all social media platforms, our links are on the bio. And if you just DM us, we can also send you the link. And buy the tickets. Currently, we are at the die-hard, that is 500, but comes a time that we are selling them at our normal price, that is 800. And we welcome everybody. If you've never been at Vibanda Village, we have the coolest music, the coolest DJ. Please join us on 14th of June with your boldest, most uncensored, most authentic drip.